why overwhelm happens and how you can stop burnout in its tracks. I, over my many years, have overwhelmed myself on many, many occasions. Every time it has been when I've gone against my values and I've put myself last. In other words, it's like doing what I thought was right for others, but not necessarily for me. And to be honest, what's come out of that over the years is LeadingME. Because overwhelm was a big part of my life. I made myself very ill through overwhelm. And LeadingME has given me the opportunity to get to know me. It was born out of me having the opportunity to get to know me and to understand what makes me tick and to understand my ego and how my ego gets involved a lot with. Overwhelm is one of those things that sometimes creep up on us as well, and we don't often see it for ourselves. So that's why LeadingME is so important. Where as we get worse and worse with it, our ego decides that it's going to run the whole show for us, which overwhelms us even more. Today we're going to look at overwhelm is often a result of too many compelling demands on us. Secondly, overwhelm can be physical, emotional, mental, all three of those. And if it's all three, you're usually looking at burnout. And managing overwhelm requires boundary setting and taking breaks. So those are the three things we're going to discuss today. So let's start with the first one, which is overwhelm is often a result of too many competing demands. The American author, podcaster, host, 𝗧𝗵𝗲 says, "You don't have a right to the cards you believe you should have been dealt. You have an obligation to play the hell out of the ones that you're holding. And my advice is own your own overwhelm." I love that last part. Own your own overwhelm, because that's what LeadingME is about, is owning and being responsible for you, responsible for yourself. So if I'm overwhelmed, I have to own the fact it's mine and I've caused it. Not something we necessarily want to hear, but it is true. Once we own it, once we own anything, that life becomes so much easier for us. Overwhelm typically occurs when we face, more tasks, responsibilities, or emotions that we feel incapable of handling. It's a sign that we may need to prioritize, maybe simplify, regain control, or even more so, and very much in my case, letting go of control. And that includes delegation. And the big part of letting go of control was definitely for me that, letting go of someone doing things when you think you can do it the best. Also, understanding the root cause of overwhelm can help break down the chaos into manageable steps for yourself. But it's not always an easy thing to do, in that trying to find the root cause when you're in it isn't always easy. So you may need some help with that. I remember trying to be Superwoman many moons ago. I mean, I had a job where I was responsible for a number of people. I was responsible for sales and those people getting the sales in. I was trying to be everything to everyone. I had my partner Paul at home. I was away a lot of the time. I'd come back, but even when I was back, was I really there? Most of the time, no. I was too busy thinking in the things I needed to do for work. And I distinctly remember a time where I was such a control freak that I had said I wanted a birthday party. And Paul had said, right, fine, if you want a birthday party for your special occasion, I'll do it, but you're going to leave me to it. And as a control freak, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's fine. But inside I'm going, oh my God, no, I need to be part of this. I need to know. And I said, well, you don't know who I want to invite. And he said, well, I know your friends, I know your family, I know who you want there. And I was like, well, yeah, but, I'll write you a list. No, don't write me a list, Mags. I don't want you to write me a list. I'm going to do, if you want me to do your party, I'll do you, but stay out of it. And I was like, right, yeah, okay. I was at that poor man, I can't tell you how many times a week, have you remembered to invite? And he's like, Mags, I'm dealing with this. Yeah, but have you invited? Mags, I'm dealing with this. And he decided to do the catering. He loves cooking. So he decided he was doing the catering. And, everything, the house was looking great. And I had overwhelmed myself because I'm such a control freak and this was somebody else doing it. And I couldn't even delegate that. I was in his face constantly. And I remember saying, I need to cut that grass. And he said, don't be silly, because we had this massive patio, massive deck. And so there was plenty of room for everyone. And to be honest, the grass wasn't that tall. It wasn't as if we were, up to our knees or anything. It just needed a bit of a cut. But I'd got it in my head, I had to get out and do that grass. And I can't believe it, but with so much grass, I had a sit down mower, right? So I went and got the sit down mower out and I went to it. And I'm like, really, did I have to do that on the day? Do you know that party was one of the best parties I've ever had? He invited everyone that I could ever want there. People came from far and away and stayed round in hotels and some stayed at our house, and it was fabulous. He done an amazing job, but I couldn't let that go because I was so in control, or had to be in control, and I couldn't let go. And I overwhelmed myself about the whole build-up, and I couldn't just enjoy the day. Don't get me wrong, once everybody started appearing and I'd put that sit-down mower away, I started enjoying the day, but it was ridiculous. We can really get ourselves into such a way and a state that overwhelms us when we don't even need to. So as far as you enjoying what is happening here at the moment, if you are, then please, we'd love your support on this. It really helps us when you subscribe, show your love, show your support with either love hearts or thumbs up. It is wonderful. And the best thing, it helps the channels out, and it also, the algorithms, it helps them tremendously. And also we really, really appreciate whatever support we get, and whatever comments are made, we love. So we would love if you could do that for us. The overwhelm, when it becomes so bad, can be physical, emotional, mental, and all three, and that can end up in burnout. And I've certainly done that to myself. I'm not proud of it. I don't wear it as a badge of honour. I wear it as a warning to everyone who's listening. There is no need for overwhelm to be there in the first place. There is no need for overwhelm to overwhelm all senses of physical, emotional, and mental that you get to burn out, because there is things that show you it's there, and it's you that decides whether you look at it, see it, and I'll keep coming back to what Cheryl said. It's up to you to own it, right? But you need to see it first before you can own it. Overwhelm, it doesn't just affect productivity. It affects our mental capacity and clarity, the brain fog we get. That can be there because the overwhelm is you're darting around constantly on different things. It can affect your emotional well-being. And by that, what I mean is your emotions can be all over the shop. One minute you can be happy, the next minute you're over here because you've just remembered, oh my God, and then you panic and your emotions get dragged to fear that you've missed something or done. The other thing it can affect is your health. And I know because it very much affected my health. And I ended up having a longer time off than I was ever taking. The one thing I'd say at this point is we know emotions affect our body. That's why it's called dis-ease. It's the emotions within our body that are in dis-ease that causes the physical effects. If you're someone who goes on holiday and ends up with a bug every single time you go, a bug or an infection or something, it means you're overwhelmed. It means you're probably stressed. Maybe there's anxiety there. Maybe there's depression there. There is an issue there that you have. Overwhelm can cause physical ailments. So if you start noticing that every time you go on holiday, you end up not well, you need to start taking more breaks and giving yourself time, because that overwhelm, when we hold it, what happens is this is the ladder of leadership that I talk about all the time, where when we're in the leading me middle ground of our body, the body gets the opportunity to regenerate itself. That's where it is. If we are out in the peripheries, which is the bigging it up, that's what we're doing, and the emotions. So the action and the emotions we have are trying to control and judge, etc. Or we're belittling, and that is we are belittling others, and we blame, and we become victims, and all of that. All of that is periphery. So when you see the ladder of leadership, you see that the two sides are where your ego drags you to, right? Drags you out to bigging it up or belittling. And that middle ground is all about that whole being of nurture. So when you sleep at night, you're nurtured, right? The body regenerates cells. It gets rid of old cells. It does all the stuff we need. However, if you're not sleeping deeply and well enough, and it's all peripheries, so the emotions that you have that are in overwhelm are causing your chemical body to be in overwhelm and producing cortisone, high levels of cortisone and adrenaline, because it's going to your peripheries. This middle ground, this leading me part of you, doesn't get to regenerate in the right way. So there's no wonder we cause our own physical disabilities, our physical dis-ease, right? So recognizing which aspect is being affected can help you in addressing it appropriately. Whether it's through stress management techniques or seeking support, or taking a break to recharge. But remember, if you're taking breaks to recharge and you're ending up ill, allow your body, don't try and go through that because I'm on holiday. Allow that to happen. Allow your body's just not had a chance to regenerate. So, allow it to, but give yourself an extra time. So if you only take 2 weeks or a week, take 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it may be, to allow yourself that first week, to allow your body to do the healing part it needs to do. Glennon Doyle, American author and activist, says, "You can't save your face and your ass at the same time. Let yourself fall apart." So let yourself recharge. Seek the support you need to help you, so that you can help your physical, your mental, and your emotional. And the third point, and the reason that I have taking a break in here again, is because it's so bloody important. Managing overwhelm requires setting boundaries and taking breaks. To prevent or reduce overwhelm, it's essential to set clear boundaries. But not necessarily just with others. The first person that you should be setting these boundaries with is with yourself. Leading me. It's about me. I'm the one that's caused the overwhelm. I'm the one that is trying to make out I am holier than thou, superwoman, I'll do everything, I'll sort everything at home, I'll sort everything, Superman, I'll make the money, bring it in, I'll look after the kids, I'll sort it. We're all trying to be so many things, and trying to prove to ourselves whatever the fear or whatever we're trying to do for ourselves. That's why we really need to find out the cause. But we first need the clear boundaries with ourselves. Values are so, so important at this point in time, because values help us create boundaries. And you have to look at yourself and say, am I living my values? If you don't know about values, I have LeadingME Wee Gems somewhere. I'll pop it in the notes, and that you can see that one again, that talks about how important values are for helping you have clear boundaries. But we're looking also at the clear boundaries for yourself. So are you living to your own values at that point? And those boundaries help you say no to commitments that, you're adding even more to the commitments you've already got. So you need to sit with yourself and think, okay, what is this? What am I doing to myself? What's the cause of this? Or sit down with somebody else. You might have, someone that, a mentor. You might have a coach. You might have a psychologist. You might have a good friend, as long as they can come out the movie and they don't go in it with you. My movie of analogy, get out of it rather than being in it with the person. If you've got a friend like that, then, a friend, but find somebody that you can actually work this through with if you can't do that yourself. But look at, what is it? What's the underlyings that is causing you to be this saint that you're trying to be, this super person that you're trying to be? Understanding when to pause and refocus helps you maintain balance and prevents burnout. So why wouldn't you do that? It doesn't make sense. I did. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. So this isn't just about the workplace. This isn't just about home. This is about everywhere you are. Think about what you want to be in each situation and how present you want to be there. And if you're not at the moment, you need to do something different. Remember what Cheryl says, own your own overwhelm. Stop blaming others. We're back to, I'm doing everything and I'm bigging it up, and, the ladder of LeadingME ladder leadership is great for reminding you that your ego is just there saying, and I need to do this and I've got to do that and I need to sort that and I'm supposed to and I should be. All of those words that we use are just bigging it upwards. We don't have to do anything, right? But the other part of that is we end up blaming others, because and then feeling really sorry for myself. And I know I've done this. Feeling really sorry for myself because I'm the one that has to do this and I'm the one that's doing that, and right? So I go into the poor me. That is just my ego mastering me. If I come back into that center ground of LeadingME and I'm back in this middle part of my body and I'm taking responsibility, I am responsible to look at what I'm doing to myself and how I can get others to help me out of it. For others to take some responsibility from me. For others to help me. For me, to delegate to Paul my party and staying out of it and allowing them, because he done an amazing job and probably a better job than I could ever have done. But that wasn't what I believed was happening at the time. So, giving it to someone to do that is capable of doing and allowing yourself some space and freedom. But when I talk about, taking a break, I also mean things like prioritizing meditation, walking in nature, exercise, reading, yoga, anything, whatever it is for you, then that's what is best for you to do. Eckhart Tolle, the German writer and spiritual leader, says, when you are overwhelmed by the future, and I would also add, and the past, you have lost the present. And I think that is where I was on that lawnmower, too busy thinking about the future, instead of being in the moment of appreciating everything that Paul had done, in that moment of looking at the food that was out, looking at how wonderful the house looked, seeing, what he had put into that and being grateful for it, instead of me buried in the future of what it must look like and what will people think and all of that crap that we load onto ourselves. I was allowing my ego to master me in the control freak, and then the poor me, I'm having to do this on my birthday. This should have been done before. Paul should have done it. We do this to ourselves. I'll keep coming back to it. Own your own overwhelm. Find out the key, and then if we're in the present, we're never overwhelmed. And that's what Eckhart Tolle was talking about. If we are in the present moment, we're not in the past, we're not in the future, we're just here. It's lovely here. If we just stop and listen, if we stop and smell the roses, if we're walking in nature just to take it in, if we're in meditation. I use meditation every day. I have to. I know I have to, because I don't want my ego to master me. So there is ways and means. You just have to work it out for yourself. What is the best way for you? But you need to be taking the breaks. If you need breaks through the day, take them. Right? Walk away from your desk. Go and have a wander. There's nothing to stop you, only you. So why overwhelm happens? We know. We have to own it. We cause it. We just have to find out what the main cause is. Why are we doing it to ourselves? And how you can stop burnout in its tracks. That's easy. That's very easy. We sit ourselves down, we look at ourselves, we own it, and then we go, okay, where is it causing me angst? Is it physical? If it's not yet, that's good, because you're not there. Is it emotional? Is it mental? Is it all three in it? And am I in burnout? I really now need to do something about this. Right? And I need time off regardless. So, too many competing demands. Overwhelm is all about where am I with mental, physical, emotional. And the last thing that we touched on was managing overwhelm requires us to set boundaries. And, may I add, to take breaks. We need to allow this middle section of our body to just settle down and have nicer hormones flying about so that it can do the really good job of healing for us. By understanding the causes and effects of overwhelm, then you own it. You can take proactive steps and manage it effectively. And you maintain your well-being at the same time. But the thing is, that's up to you. Are you going to manage your well-being? Are you going to manage your ego to allow you to manage your well-being and to overcome that overwhelm? I hope the answer is yes. And if you resemble anything that I've talked about today, then take the time and get yourself sorted. I honestly wish I hadn't done so much angst to me and had heeded the signs much earlier. But I thought I was invincible, and I'm not. And neither are you. As I say each time, stay true, stay you. Keep bringing out that brilliance. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.